Hi folks, in this video I'm going to show you how to log into Salesforce with Facebook. It looks a bit awkward, but then again doing awkward things is fun. And once we are done with this, you can understand the power of Additi Server and see how you can extend this feature to address your real business use cases. If you hear about WSO2 Additi Server for the first time, it's an open source identity and access management product released under the most business friendly Apache 2.0 license. You can go to wso2.org or wso2.com and under products, identity and access management. Now here you can download the latest version of WSO2 Additi Server, which is at the time of this recording IS 530, and I am using IS 530 for this particular demo. So the objective here is to log into Salesforce with your Facebook ID. Okay, we already did a video on how to log into Salesforce with your LDAP credentials through WSO2 Additi Server. So it was the very first video I did. If you go to YouTube and if you go to my channel here, should be able to find this video. It's the very first video, this one. So this explains all the steps that you need to know to configure Additi Server to talk to Salesforce, and I'm not going to repeat those steps in this particular demo. You can go to this video, and I'll also share the link to this video in the description below. So let me show you first how it works, like how to log into Salesforce with Additi Server. First, I need to start the Additi Server. I already have a copy downloaded, and to get started with the Additi Server, you only need to have JDK 1.8 installed and set up the Java home. Then you can go to Additi Server home directory, and then to bin directory, and start the server with search wso2 server.sh. It will take around 40 to 50 seconds to start the server, and by default it starts on 9443 HTTPS port. If you want to change it, you can do it by changing the offset value in the repository conf carbon XML. Okay, it got started in 45 seconds. Now if we go back here and let's try to log into Additi Server Management Console. It's running on HTTPS localhost 9443, and I can log in with default admin credentials, admin. Additi Server comes with its own embedded LDAP, and in a production deployment you can change the configuration, talk to any LDAP server, an Active Directory or a database. So these admin credentials, they are coming from the embedded LDAP. Now I have configured Salesforce as a service provider here. This is that configuration. I'm not going to show like how to do this. You can go to this video. Okay, and let me show you how this works. If I go to this particular URL, this is my Salesforce domain. It will redirect me back to the Additi Server. Now I can log in with my credentials there. Okay, now you can see I'm logged into Salesforce with my Identity Server credentials. Now in this demo we are going to change it where I can log into Salesforce with my Facebook credentials. Okay. To do this, first I need to create an application in Facebook and get my own client ID and client credentials for my Facebook app and configure those credentials in the Identity Server. So Facebook is using 0020. First you need to go to this particular URL, okay, developers.facebook.com/apps, and click on add a new app. Let's give a name there, demo app, create app ID. Okay, I need to give an email address. Let's give my email address, create app ID. Okay. Need to fill this captcha a little hard. K8H. Okay, it works. Now I need to pick a product type. I'll pick Facebook login. Then click on web. This can be any URL. Let's say http salesforce.com, because I want to log into Salesforce, so I just give that URL. This can be any URL. This URL doesn't matter. Okay, it has to be HTTPS. Okay. Okay, typo there. Done. Continue. So mostly like how you this shows you how to use this Facebook SDK. Done. Right. So then once you do this one, go to Facebook login settings here, and under valid OAuth redirect URIs you need to type HTTPS localhost. This is the host name where Identity Server is running, and the port number, and this should be command node. Okay. So this is the OAuth redirect URI. Okay, another typo here. HTTP localhost 9443 / command node. Okay, so this is pointing to the command node endpoint of the WSO2 Identity Server. So this is the endpoint where the Facebook will return back the authorization code. Facebook is using 0020 authorization code brand type. This is all you need to do. Then save changes. Okay, done. Now if you go to dashboard here, you will be able to see the client ID and client secret. Okay, this is the client ID and client secret. I need to copy this and configure them in the Identity Server. Let's go to Identity Server. Now from Identity Server's point of view, Facebook is another identity provider. So I need to add an IDP here. Identity providers, add, let's give Facebook. It can be any name. Okay. Then go to federated authenticators and pick Facebook configuration and check enable Facebook authentication. Copy the value of client ID, copy this one and paste it here, and copy the client secret, app secret, paste it here. Now you can specify, so when you request a token, you need to specify a scope. I need this access token which is good enough for this scope. We need to tell it to Facebook. You have multiple options. If you look at the Facebook documentation here, if you use public profile, which is also default scope, then you have access to these fields. Right? So I'll use public profile as my scope here. Okay. Then again, so Facebook is using OAuth2O. So with OAuth2O, it's about access delegation. It's not about authentication. So how Facebook uses OAuth2O for authentication? What happens is, when you do this OAuth handshake with this particular scope, you get an access token which is good enough to access graph.facebook.com/me API and retrieve any of the fields under the public profile, right? So when you get an access token, using that access token, you can call this API graph.facebook.com/me, passing that access token and request any of the fields under this. Okay. In addition to that, you can also query get the email field, right? So now Additi Server, once the Additi Server gets the access token, it has to talk to the graph.facebook.com/me endpoint and pass what are the attribute IDs we need, right? So I need to configure these attribute IDs here. Say I need this one, first name, I need last name, and I need email. Right. Callback URL, we don't need to provide any value here. By default, Additi Server will use localhost, HTTPS localhost 9443/common node. That is what we configured in the Facebook while creating the Facebook app. Okay. Once this is done, we also need to pick, so you get the response from Facebook, we need to do some claim configuration. Go here, under basic claim configuration, click on define custom claim dialect, add claim mapping. We need to map these claim URIs, attribute IDs coming from the Facebook, to WSO2 claim dialect. Okay, I did a video on this too, in detail how to do claim configuration in Additi Server. I'll share that link. This is that video. It explains how claim management works, so then you get a better understanding why we are doing this. I'll share this link in the video description. Now I need to create a claim called email. This is IDP claim, and map it to the Additi Server's local claim URL. And I can also create a claim called first name. This is exactly the attribute ID returned by Facebook. And let's give a name, last name, do you have any claim URL here? I'll map it to, I can map it to any name here. I'll just pick, there's a claim for last name too, but okay, last name is here. And then user ID claim URI so there are multiple attributes in the Facebook response. We can pick what is the attribute ID we want to treat as a user ID. So in this case, we'll treat the email which comes in this Facebook response as a user ID. Okay, that's all you need to do. Now this is good enough to log into Salesforce. Now once you configure the IDP, it's not just enough. You need to go to your service provider, Salesforce, and engage this IDP to the login flow. Under local and outbound authentication configuration, federated authentication, now you can see this Facebook will appear here. Just check that and update. Okay. And in addition to the Facebook login, if you want to provision the attributes that you fetch from Facebook to the Identity Server itself, then you can do it too. Under IDP Facebook, go here, just-in-time provisioning, and check always provision to primary user store. Identity Server supports multiple user stores. You can pick under which user store you want to provision this particular user. In this setup, I have only primary, so I just pick this one. So once you complete login with Facebook through Identity Server will provision the user to the user store here. Okay. Okay, in this case, my username would be the Prabhat. So you will not see the user get provisioned if I have this user called same name here. So let me delete this one. Okay. And let's go to Peter here and change his email address to okay. Okay, so there's no user called Prabhat in Identity Server now. Now let's go to the service provider, copy this URL and see what happens. Okay, if I click this one, this will directly take me to the Facebook. Earlier it took me to the Identity Server login page. Now it should take me to the Facebook login page. Yeah, you can see I'm on Facebook login page. Now I can log in with my Facebook username and password. Okay, I need to find the code from my Facebook mobile app. Oops. We continue. Now this sends the request to the Identity Server. Now I need to give my consent, okay, to this Facebook. Now Identity Server redirects me to Salesforce. Right? So it is waiting on Salesforce. Okay. Now we cannot log in. So even though Facebook login works fine, we cannot log into Salesforce. The reason is we will not let everyone log into Salesforce. Like if anyone in Facebook can log into Salesforce, then that's an issue, right? So there's another part we need to do, right? By now we have completed Facebook login, but with that particular user we cannot log into Salesforce because that user is not provisioned here. If you go back to the Identity Server page here, you will see the user is provisioned, right? So if the Facebook login for completes, then user should be provisioned here. If you go here under the users, you will see this user is provisioned with this particular ID. And if you look at the user profile, you will see Prabhat, Srivardhana, all this stuff here. One thing, it looks like we didn't get the email, right? If email was there, then the name should be set to email address. Let's go back and see the IDP configuration. Okay, so we have email to address, and then here under Facebook configuration, we in fact ask for the email address. Okay, in fact here I need to send the email to because the reason, I guess, the Facebook is not returning back email, since the email is not listed under the public profile scope. So you need to ask for the email too. Okay, let's try it again before we fix that Salesforce issue. Okay, we got users here. Let's delete this user. Okay, this will take me again to Facebook. Okay, it will anyway fail at the yeah, it's asking me for the additional scope. Now I should get the email. Okay, it will fail here, but if you go back to the my users here, yeah, now you can see, right? So the Prabhat user is provisioned properly, and I should see the email address too. Okay, I hope you understood the reason, because we only ask for the public profile, and public profile doesn't bring you the email address. So you need to give multiple scope values, then you will get all the fields you need. So now we have the user provision and also the Facebook login completed, but still we cannot log into Salesforce. So here what we are using is the concept of bring your identity. So we will only let the enterprise users who are coming from the Additi Server's LDAP to log into Salesforce. But if they want, they can configure their social account against the enterprise account. To do that, let's see how Peter can map his Facebook account against his enterprise account. To do that, you need to log into the Additi Server's localhost 9443/dashboard. This is the user portal of the Additi Server, and I will log in as Peter and his credentials. Then I need to go to associated accounts, add association, pick account type as federated, then it will list out the available IDPs. I pick Facebook, and my Facebook identifier there is, which is the subject that we configured in the Facebook IDP configuration, which is email, right? So it has to be prabhat@apache.org. Done. Now I can log out. Now if I go back to the service providers, edit the Salesforce, go to local and outbound configuration and check this one, assert identity using map local subject identifier. So that means you get an identifier from Facebook, and now see whether you have a matching identifier in your enterprise user store. If so, use that identifier and send that user as a subject in the summary response to Salesforce. So Salesforce doesn't even need to know about Facebook. It just trusts the Additi Server and just trusts a user from the enterprise user store behind Additi Server. Okay. So now we should see the end-to-end flow working fine. This will take me to Facebook. I log in with my Facebook credentials. I will type the code. Okay. Now you can see I'm successfully logged into Salesforce. Okay. Here you can see I'm logged in as Peter. Okay, so that concludes our demo today, and I'll put all the reference videos, links to those reference videos to the description below. If you have any questions, please post them as comments below the video. Thank you very much.